everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield and I'm a professional dance choreographer and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're here taking a look at a dance practice behind the scenes with Alpha-Drive-One with Freak Alarm. I've already seen and covered Formula and Freak Alarm. It's on YouTube already, but anything that I look at with this group or any other Gen 5 group or any group for that matter, it all goes live on Patreon first, and then it follows the schedule on YouTube based on demand and based on what's being released at the time. So I'm ready to dive in. I hope you are. Let's go.
전투를 준비하는 비행사 뭔지 아시죠? 그 활주로 이렇게
That's funny. I think this is my first behind the scenes with Alpha-Drive-One, now that I'm thinking about it.
되게 잘했네. 되게 잘했어? 오케이. 역시 우리 롱 감독님. 뭐야, 우리 연습해야 되나? 연습하러 가겠습니다.
일단은 동정부터 잡을게요. 네. 7 second we walking everybody know got the place. 뭐해? 왜 그래?
왜?
그리고 왜 세컨 2에 넣는 리오야. 몇 번이야? 2. 미안한데 2.2 갈 수 있을까? 2.2. 좀 좁아 보인다. 그 다음에 하우즈 몇 번이야? 1.5까지 할 수 있을까? 좀만 넓히자. 너무 좁게 I'm gonna hit the.
And you may be wondering what the numbers are. There's number lines that are happening that are normally either on the mirror or on the floor. And then some people just use tape. We use tape at our studio. That is how you keep aligned, and normally you start at 0 and then you open it out. Sometimes people use numbers or letters, depending, and you want to have them equally spaced so it's easier to set formations like that. Something that I don't know is I'm assuming that music shows don't have number lines, because you'd be able to see them, right?
Second we walking everybody know. 자, 팝핑 춤을 자 스탑. 이게 0.5씩 빠지는 거 맞죠? 네. 난 10초 제대로 저는 잠깐만, 이러면 안 돼. 08에서 1.1로 둘이 나갈래? 됐어. 이렇게 가셔야 됩니다. 예. 롱이 그다음 보여야 돼, 이렇게. 그래서 롱이가 이해됐지? 이렇게 맞추면 돼. 네. 괜찮아. 다시 하면 돼. 네. 다시 하자.
Is Shinlong in the back? Yeah?
Second we walking everybody know. 팝핑 꿈을 깨는 sound. I'm gonna hit the freak. Stop. 이때 선생님 몇 번? 2번. 2.5. 오케이. 2번 두 번째 줄.
I like that we heard that our director said we want to make sure we see Shinlong. And so part of that, I'm curious, because if that 0.5 was directed towards who was in center, then that means they don't need to be directly on 0. They need to be on 0.5 in between 0 and 1. So Shinlong can be seen. However, it would also make more sense to have whoever was directly covering up Shinlong for them to have equal spacing on either side. So I'm curious about that component. That wasn't really clear here, but that's normally when you have, an even number, you want to split center. I had to do that on Thursday because I have an even number for a group in the same way.
Okay. 몸의 리듬이 아마 너의 코끝에서 이렇게 리듬감 있어요. 아마 너의 코끝에서.
Also, as a side note, something I'm intrigued on is the fact that we're cleaning the dance away from the mirror. Versus normally you would see this type of cleaning when the director is facing the mirrors behind them and they're looking in it. But this is one of the few times that I'm actually clocking that the director is cleaning it, which is, refining, making changes or adjusting, which is what's happening, to them facing this way.
운전을 하면 안 되고 약간 리듬으로 가라고. 손은 이거 안 해도 돼, 그냥.
No driving, so don't rotate it.
이거 안 해도 돼, 얘들아. 그냥 뭐 이런 걸 다 제스처식으로 편하게 풀면 돼. 맞춰. 이렇게 쓸게. 이거는 이렇게 이거는 어차피 대형이 없으니까 이렇게 라인 맞출게. 아마 너의 코끝에서 자욱한 스친 스맨돌 헤이 내게로 와와 텐션 빠져 들수록 느낌 좋아. 얘들아 이게 좀 더 헤이 약간 이런 얘들아 이거 약간 이러면 안 돼? No. 이러면 안 돼, 막 이러면 안 돼. 얘들아 뭔가 헤이 야 몸에 힘을 뒤에를 빼 이렇게 빼주면서 이건 뭐야 갑자기? 안 돼. 느낌 좋아. Go stop. 안진이가 살짝만 뒤로 빼줄게. 1, 2, 3 이것도 얘들아 제일 중요한 헤이 몸을 좀 원더볼 무릎이 살짝 리듬이 들어가는 생각해.
네.
이러면 안 돼.
잠깐만요.
그치? 오케이. 자, 네. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5 그렇지. 지금 좋은데 1, 2 리듬 탔으면 여기는 잡아야 돼. 롱이 오른발 빼야 돼.
네.
안신이 오른발 빼야 돼.
네.
한 번만 더 얘들아 미안해. 이거 리듬 타다가 여기 탁탁 잡아.
네.
오케이?
I will say, if it's a translation thing, it could be a translation thing. But whenever he told them no driving, and he said just ride the rhythm, to me, that felt a bit broad of a correction because what did they do? Like, I guess if anything, they just have to go off of what he's doing. He said ride the rhythm. But I do think we could be a little bit more specific because riding the rhythm is such a broad idea. Because when you ride it, are you wanting to ride it with the body or ride it with the arm? Or with both, and then don't make the arm too big. Like, I wonder what that correction was, and did it actually get fixed? Because he's just told them no driving. Okay, but you didn't technically fix it. You just told them to do something very, what is it? It's very subjective. So, I don't know. That was a very fascinating, like, I'm still thinking about what he said there, but it could very easily be a translation thing. And as long as it gets fixed, and that's how it gets fixed. There's certain things, whenever I'm cleaning dances myself, there's certain lingo or certain things that I communicate to my dancers. Because we've spent time together, there's no communication issue because the certain isms I say, how I teach them, how we communicate, how I correct, how I encourage, all of those things we collaborate on, and it's a give and take on. So they're able to receive it, but also they know what kind of questions to ask as well. And they know when to square up and when to be silly too. But I don't know their relationship with this director.
그래도 공은 많이 나가는 거. 아 미안해. 뭐 틀린 줄 알았는데. 아 미안해.
자 일단 그 파핀 나가봐. 파핀 나가. Second we walking everybody know.
Based on how this director sounds too, I don't think they have a lot of time to go over this dance. Because she's like, let's do it, let's go. Because time is money, is really what this is.
이때는 상원이가 앞에 있어야 돼.
I have no idea how much time they have between this rehearsal and when they gotta perform it.
이게 이쁘다. 2.1로 갈게. 시작. 다가와 점점 커져가는 몸. 쌉. 잠깐만. 안신이 지금 번호랑 라인 맞아야 돼. 괜찮아요. 자 여기 몇 번 정리할까 반호? 08. 1호. 그 다음에 2.
네.
오케이 2. 점점 달아오른 몸. I'm gonna eat the freak along. Yeah. 잠깐만. 포즈 잡아봐. 포즈. 김치. 안신이 포즈. 김치 하지 마. 미안해. 김치 하지 마. 그래 장난이야. 이거는 할 때마다 우리 포징을 조금씩 바꾸자.
오케이.
왜냐면 너무 이런 거에서 조금씩 살짝 누르거나 이런 거 조금 변화 좀 주자.
이벤트성.
이거 이런 데서 우리 좀 재미를 조금씩 줄까?
이거 뭐야?
이거 보자.
그럼 유명 맞아. 저희 시그니처.
하여튼 우리 이런 걸로 여기서는 좀 엔딩 때 이 위치는 유지되는데 여기서 조금씩 뭔가 다르게 주자.
네.
이렇게 좀 재미를 좀 주자.
알겠습니다.
이렇게 하고 한 번 더 입 박자 쭉 가볼게요.
네.
일단 자기 것만 생각하세요.
네.
준비. 띡. Second we walking everybody.
Shout out to the director for staying on pitch though.
I'm gonna I'm gonna hit the. Yeah, 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 yeah. Second we walking, everybody know. Lot of way popping, 꿈을 깨는 sound. I'm gonna hit the freak alarm, yeah, yeah. 자리 좋아, freak alarm, yeah, yeah. 숨냐냐, 코끝에서 잠깐 스친 대각선. 밤밤밤밤 틱, 뒤로 가는 놈이. 3초면 충분하지, ain't no me. Hey, 틱. 톡 eyes on 하지 말라고. It's so different, can't believe it's the right time, it's the right time. 뒤로 가라 right time, baby, it's the right time, yeah. Timeline 2, bang bang, you can get it up. 자리, 얼굴, 박형, 얼굴. 선생님 1호.
2에서 뛰는 거.
2에서. Up, it's so different, like the new age.
You know what's so interesting is that listening to this is it's such I'm like in work mode right now. That's why I'm like really silent on some of these sections. I'm so focused on what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, and what is the result of it, and what's the relationship of this director and these boys, because I really resonate with some of this where there's a time and a place to be goofy, but then also like don't get caught if you're gonna be goofy, or make sure that we're being productive if you're gonna do that too. Which is, so far it sounds like it's going pretty well as a rehearsal, where you see them not be so uptight, which is good, but also they're not being so lax. They're making corrections and having to apply them. As long as corrections are being applied, you have way more wiggle room to have more like a realistic interaction with each other and not be so militant and focused. Sometimes you have to have practices like that. If we got stuff to do and we ain't hanging in there, we got to figure it out quickly, right? So this is just very interesting to me. And also keep in mind too, a director is not the same as a choreographer. So what this individual's doing is a completely different skill set than the creation of the dance. Surely, like, it's basically the difference between somebody who creates versus somebody who audits, right? Now, I still feel this way. I wish that we had different elements within our formation to not have to navigate always covering somebody up or trying to avoid people being covered up by simply moving 0.5. I wish that the choreography was framed to where we could at least have a different level, so it's not even an issue for that section. It's really just a spacing issue, not a making sure somebody doesn't get seen or somebody gets seen issue. However, the director, that's not his job, especially if you're on a tight timeline. I know I've been in the position where I want to make changes, but I don't have the time to make the change. There's bigger fish to catch in the issue, right? So that's what I find interesting about this, is that I'm like so locked in. So I'm sorry if you guys are like, Jess, why aren't you contributing anything? My brain is going 90-0, thinking through so many things while watching this.
잠깐만, 리오야, 너 뭔 거 같은데? 앞으로 좀 많은 거 같아. 오케이. 자, 여기 번호 한번 말해줄래? 첫 번째. 1, 2. I'm gonna eat the freak 목 아프다.
My throat lumps, yeah. That was cute. That was cute.
살짝 뒤로 갔으면 좋겠어.
하나, 둘, 셋, 넷.
Yep.
다리 한 번만 해. 네. 내가 못 찍어지네.
You keep missing this.
Bring it up now, 둥둥. 먼저 가 거세진 밤 빛이 없을. 이러면 하우가 좀 빨리 이쪽으로 나와줄 수 있어? 얘가 너무 멀어. I eat the freak alarm, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna eat the freak alarm. 너무 바꿨다. 오케이, 이렇게 모이는 느낌이 이뻐요. 자, 얘들아. 빡세게 바로 하고 찍자. 바로 찍자. 아까 약속했던 거 잊지 마세요. 네, 찍을 거야 바로. 여러분, 뭐야?
Ooh, that's fast turnaround. I wonder if they make like big mistakes, are they gonna stop and start over? They didn't go for it 100%. Why? None of them are on the ground.
Go. Second we walk in, everybody know. Got the place popping, Google got the sound. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them.
I wonder if they fixed that. Because you don't see that happen when Song1 does that opener in any of the other instances, but we see him almost trip on Songhyun almost every time. I'm curious why some stayed lower and then others stayed higher.
자리가 좀 안 맞나?
See? Now we tried.
지금 데뷔쇼 4곡을 디테일을 좀 더 정리를 하고 있습니다. 근데 크리알람이 스텝도 많고 좀 뛰는 것도 많고 그래서 이게 보기에는 좀 쉬워
Does it
보일
look
수도
easy?
있는데 뭔가
You silly
일반
goose.
안무가 많은 것보다도
보기에도 쉬워 보이는 좀 억울할 것 같긴 해요.
추기에도 힘들고 또 이게 리듬이 많이 있다 보니까 또 좀 기본기도 많이 들어가고 그렇죠. 중요합니다. 네, 열심히 하고 있습니다. 그래도.
프리덤 잘될 수 있을까?
Oh,
잘될 수 있을까? 야,
nice.
프리덤 음방 1위 한번 해본다.
Woo!
We are the
Champions.
형 물어보고 싶은 거 있어.
나 실롱 이제 번지점 할 수 있나요?
네. 이번엔 진짜 번지점 가나요? 왜?
되는 줄 알았어.
이렇게.
He also had to do the zip line. I remember that.
이게 안에 있는 게 흔들려서 안 되잖아. 되네?
열심히 준비하고 있는데
As soon as he said something.
무대 잘할 수 있겠죠?
So they have a mirror there. Well, now it makes me curious, do they have a mirror in the other room? Because there's this mirror is an L shape, which a lot of spaces that I've noticed in the Korean studio side, they do have L-shaped mirrors. Most studios that I've been in, it's not a thing. It's like mostly just one. So, but the agency ones are L-shaped, which makes sense
안
though.
보이네.
I think that's great, especially if you film your stuff, you at least have a reference.
좋아해주시겠죠? 갑자기 궁금한.
I thought y'all did fine.
지금 며칠이신가요? 저는 지금 12월 26일인데 아마 이거 데뷔쇼하고 올라갈까요? 데뷔하고 올라가겠죠? 어때요, 저?
Allies.
프리카랑 곡 어떤가? 그렇게 좋아요? 좀 취재를 해볼까? 우리 안신이는 휴식을 하고 있습니다. 아우거 다른 애들 지금 저희 작품 보고 있어요. 뭐가 그렇게 재밌는지. 김성현 중거 오 보시는데 너무 멋있는 관계로
I am curious. Are the boys here, are they learning Chinese? Because I remember, you guys remember EXO back in the day? I mean, they're active now, but EXO was separated, EXO-K, EXO-M. And then you had members who were Korean who were in EXO-M. They had to learn Chinese because all their tracks were in Chinese. And I'm wondering, because you have Chinese members here, are we going to get where those members have to learn Korean, right? But are they going to learn, the Korean members, are they going to learn Chinese, especially if they're wanting to push promotion in China? I don't know, but I think it would be very interesting to see.
그만
Just a
뒷걸음
little
걸치고.
shower thought.
7, 8 단단단 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 이 느낌 그대로 해줘 이따가도 1, 2, 3
I like that he told them that. Like, do it exactly like that.
7, 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Oh, give me the show, give me the show, give me the show We burning it down 이때 스탑 여기다가 그 뭐지 지금 롱이랑 원래는 우리 안무 할때 여기 맞춰줄 수 있어? 아시세요? 이 위치 이다알이 아니라 뎁스 너도 좀 앞으로 와줘 오케이? Burning it down 하고 이거 나오게 Second we walk in everybody know Got the place popping we're getting sound Gonna hit the freak alarm Gonna hit the freak alarm 그리고
마지막 원테이크.
Second we walk in, everybody know. Got the place popping, good at the sound. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them. Second we walk in, everybody know. Got the place popping, good at the sound. I'm gonna hit
That was a fun emoji choice. I mean, as long as they're having a good time. I was wondering if that's what they were doing, what the directors were doing, were getting it airdropped to the computer to get it hooked up to an HDMI to watch on the TV. Bro.
내려놓지 말지. 와 이거 진짜 멋있다.
아니지나 두번 틀린 거지?
여기.
그치?
여기 있습니다.
얼추 맞는데 조금씩 디테일 아이가 동작이 안 맞지도 않았는데 이제 솔직히 근데 각자 멋을 좀 내야 돼
더 잘할 수 있는 그걸 생각하면
에이오 멋.
어차피 또 팬들 있으면 흥분해가지고 또
It's action oriented. Ooh.
이놈의 촬영.
Here's what that probably translates to is with their action oriented, meaning whenever you see fans in front of you, the adrenaline is what causes the performance to come out versus what you see in the dance practice space. I always train all my dancers to practice how you want to perform, because the worst thing to happen is if you don't practice your facials, and then whenever you go under adrenaline, you're going to make technical mistakes because you're focusing on something you never focused on, and it's technically polyrhythmic, meaning that you're focusing on this completely different entity compared to everything else that you're conditioned to do. So when you have this new element, it's foreign to what you're conditioned to do. So you have a higher risk of making mistakes. So I don't know if that's what they meant when they said when the fans are there, you're going to explode anyway because you're action oriented or what. I tend to try to get my dancers to not do that, because to me, I'm like, when you're on stage, it's too late. You need to be on it immediately. But it could also be they're going full, they're going for it here. It also, I like the fact that director said that, you know, you guys have the moves for the most part, add your style to it, meaning put a little bit of yourself in it, but keep the guardrails and blueprint of what the point of the dance is and what the move is, and then you can add your own texture to it.
그리고 주저하지 않은 것 주저하지 않겠어 이걸로 바꿔.
네.
그거 빼면 안 돼.
빼면은 너무 빈데.
아예 멈춰있지. 아니면 아예 끄는 거 어때요? 그러면서 걔는 엘리엔트는 주저하지 않겠어.
그래도 되는데 한번 그거 봐야 돼.
네.
그래서 이게 조금
빨라서.
굳이?
나는 굳이 지금 봐니까 좀 지저분해 보여서.
저는 사실 고민했던 게 이렇게 하고 나가야 되면서 이렇게 원가잖아요. 그러니까 이걸 이렇게 하고 하려면 할 수 있는데 이게 항상 급해지는 거지. 이게 막
않겠어 그럼 나갈래.
뭐 상관없어. 저는
한번 해보면서.
이게 그러니까 이거 해도 상관없는데 좀 급한.
I really wish this was translated what the director's saying because I'm so curious about that. I like the fact that they're able to contribute. I want to know what the director's saying.
여러분.
Also, side note, I can tell you the reason why, from lived experience, reason why you need to actually watch when you dance, especially when it's in a formation structure like what you see here. The reason why they watch playback. Even if you're looking at you dancing with your group in the mirror, it is not the same as whenever you see it on camera or you see it from I'm not in the formation frame. You can't see the full picture because you're within the formation, so you can only see based on your vantage point, which is so not the same. So that's why that kind of playback's really helpful. Some people hate watching themselves, some people love it. I'm an individual where I do enjoy watching my own dancing because it helps me be able to celebrate the wins, but also know where I can work on and grow. I apply what I do here to my own videos. So whether or not that's like a double-edged sword, it is, but I try to grow by applying the things that we're able to see.
오늘 데뷔쇼 무대 연습 끝났어요. 이제 진짜 얼마 안 남았어요. 진짜 얼마 안 남았어요.
나왔어요.
팬분들이랑 곧 만날 거라서 저희 멤버들도 같이 열심히 연습했어요.
Got the place popping, 꿈과 같은 sound. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them. Second wave, everybody know. Got the place popping, we're getting sound. I'm gonna hit the Rico. Gonna hit the Rico. Second watch, second wave, everybody know. Got the place popping, we're getting sound. I'm gonna hit the Rico. I'm gonna hit the spotlight. 점점 가나오는 몸. I'm gonna
만진이 열심히 하니까 이뻐 죽겠어.
Aw,
만진아 이뻐 죽겠어. 예뻐?
예뻐.
오늘 너무 열심히 연습해서요.
Good job,
오늘
방심.
개인 수업도 했어요.
We
너무
love it.
수고했어요. 엘리즈 위해서 잘 열심히 연습.
It doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me that Shinlong was there as to help or whatever, like in that space, because Shinlong would help Shuyang of Boy Story way back in the day. So
됐어요.
I think it's in his
잘
nature
보여주세요.
to be helpful during those times. Boy.
미안해요, 엘리즈. 쇼케이스
Right.
며칠 안 남았는데 이런 일이 생기는 거 너무 미안해요. 멤버들한테도 엘리즈한테도 아쉽게 8명 같이 데뷔 못하지만 최대한
man.
빠르게 회복하고 빨리 8명의 무대 빨리 엘리즈한테 보여줄 수 있게 빠르게 회복하겠습니다. 빠르게 건강한 모습을 돌아오겠습니다. 엘리즈도 너무 걱정하지 마세요. 자기의 건강 잘 챙겨주세요.
Same to you. Right back at you.
7, 8, second we walking, everybody know. Got the place popping, 꿈을 깨는 sound. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them.
And they're practicing what they're vocalizing too.
Yeah. Second we walking, everybody know. Got the place popping, 꿈을 깨는 sound. We burning it down. Second we 이때 stop. 지금 둘 조금만 더
I'm glad they added this in to see the time it takes to adjust the formations from a certain number to another number. It's called reblocking, is what we call this.
땡길 수 있나 이거랑?
You reblock it.
아니면은 지금 상황이 좀
You gotta
들어가고
adjust the space again.
너네들 좀 뒤로 가.
근데 이거 셋 하고 저희가 맨 뒤에 있는 걸로
둘. 한번 살짝만 주면 돼. 너무 많이 주지 말고.
Yep.
한번 해봐봐. 부딪히는 거.
Try it. Basically, try it so I can see it.
지금 괜찮아?
조금만 있으면 돼.
We need just need a little spacing. Move on. Okay, okay.
자, 넘어가자. 시작. Second we walk it, everybody know. 빰, 빰, 빰. 꿈을 깨는 사운드. 스탑. 여기가
Sound
지금
stop.
더 나왔어요. 찍어.
아 이게 그냥
찍어. 리오 띵.
아 알겠습니다.
그럼 이거 뗄 다시 뒤로.
오케이.
아, 오케이. 사운드 치 뚱뚱 freak along. I'm gonna hit the freak along.
뒤로.
다가와 freak along. 빰빰빰빰. 잠깐만. 아시나 너 몇 번이야?
지금 1.8.
1.8? 너 1.5지? 1.5까지 들어와라. 거기가 큰 크다가.
엘리즈. 그 차 게임.
와, 너 183이야?
절대 아니요.
절대 안 해.
He said never, never.
87.
87.
거 아니야?
That's so funny.
84.2?
아니, 저 몇이야?
저 77, 78이에요.
준서 몇이야?
78입니다.
그럼 비슷하네? 근데 준서가 더 큰데?
네, 비슷해.
비슷하긴 하네. 근데 그냥 그 힘을 다 주지 마. 뺄 때 빼도 돼. 프리가라면 대형 괜찮지?
네, 좋아요.
포뮬러가 좀
홈런도 괜찮아요. 네, 은근 할만해.
할 수 있습니다.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 6가 제일 중요해. And 6.
He said, what is this?
오케이? 한번 다시 해볼게요. 잘하고.
He's not sorry. He's not sorry. He's making him do it again.
1, 2, 3, and no. Hey, yeah. Like that. Oh, give it a show. We're burning it down. Second we walking. And down. I'm being good getting sound. 여기 괜찮아. Bounce. 자, 나나나. 우, 야야야야. 나나나. 점점 커져. 아니, 너 근데 힘 빼라. 점점 힘 빼. 왜 힘드냐면 너가 이렇게 치고 힘들어. 힐로 치고 힘들어. 그냥 이렇게 약간 앞꿈치로 해.
Why does it feel heavier on your heels versus the balls of your feet? It is because your weight takes longer to well, this isn't the only reason. A reason would be when you swing, the switch off, you still have to roll through in order to lift up to do the switch. So if it's in the balls of the feet, it's easier to weight transfer. If it's in the heels, you still got to transfer. So it's a 2-step process versus a 1-step process. So that's why a lot of times the difference between dancing on the heels versus dancing on the balls of the feet, it's going to feel heavier on the heels because it takes more effort to weight shift. So that was a really good note to them to make it not look so heavy.
Good. 잘했어. 엉덩이 접어주세요. 다가와 점점 커져가고 나를 봐 점퍼 두개 다 이렇게 들어보고.
I'm sorry.
하나 비슷해.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, bro.
I'm sorry, bro.
자, 우리 리오.
Name tags for monitoring.
자, 준서.
어디서?
아름이요. 당신. 예스.
안녕하십니까 여러분. 저희는 데뷔 3일 전 이제 쇼케이스를 앞두고 안무 연습을 하고 있습니다. 아르노의 부상으로 지금 정말 아쉽게 7인 동선을 연습하고 있는데 첫 데뷔를 또 완전체로 하지 못하는 게 너무 속상하고 어쨌든
Yeah.
아르노가 제일 속상할 테니까
Yeah.
레지 분들도 너그럽게 이해해 주시면 정말 좋을 것 같습니다.
Hey, thank goodness we had formula though. So there's that.
7명이서 열심히 동선을 맞추고 한번 이렇게 디테일을 다시 리마인드하고 있고요. 7인 버전 영상을 다시 남겨야 하기 때문에 또 멤버들 힘을 합쳐서 곧 촬영을 시작할 예정입니다. 아르노의 쾌유를 빌면서 저희가 더 열심히 하도록 하겠습니다. 하고 요즘 TMI인데 제가 요즘 이제 연습을 항상 밤늦게까지 하니까 저희가 커피를 또 2번 주문을 하는데 이제 커피를 좀 줄일 겸 이렇게 녹차를 마시고 있어요.
I mean, I should probably do that.
아이스 녹차.
Do I do that?
붓기 관리에도 좋고
Maybe.
이제 꿀을
A little
추가하면
bit.
또 달달하기 때문에 에너지도 얻으면서 당 충전도 하고.
As soon as I'm done with this coffee, I'm probably gonna get some green tea here in a
근데
second.
녹차에도 카페인이 있는 걸로 아는데 그래도 잠자는 데는 문제 없어요.
Good to know.
네, 카메라 진짜 감성 있게 잘 나온다. 저와 함께하는 알디오는 연습. 내가 어제 저 혼자 뼈찜 먹는데 뼈구이 혼자 1인 뼈구이 시켜서 먹는데 애들 같이 있으니까 그래도 이렇게 한 입 막 주고 했어요. 전 조금 먹고 얘네 좀 이렇게 주고 하니까 금방 먹는 거야 애들이.
너랑 뭐다 뺏어 먹었구나.
하시니까지 이렇게 셋이 먹고 있으니까 아 너네 더 먹어라 하고 1인 그거를 이미 클리어하고 중짜를 또 시켰어요 이렇게. 신롱이 조금 먹다 가고 얘도 뼈 하나 이렇게 잡더니 아 더 못 먹겠다 하고 갔는데 나는 뼈 한 2개 있던 거를 얘가
Right.
얘가 그래서 저 진짜 한 입 먹고 얘 다 먹었어요.
먹는 거에 대해 좀안 치는 것 같긴 하다.
아니 근데 이게 계속 그렇게 먹으면은 돼지 되는데 계속 그렇게 먹지 않아요.
먹다가 쉬다 한 번씩
잠깐 쉬고, 잠깐 빼주고.
너 계속 그 디저트 먹으면 안 돼.
아 얘를 뒤에다 그때 좀 부어.
당신이 좀 살쪄.
그냥 바로 부어.
아니 그러니까 당이 안 좋은 게 뭐냐면 혈당량이 높아지잖아. 그러면 이게 인슐린 분비가 돼. 그러면 이게 지방 함량이 많아지고 밥을 먹어도 당을 적게 먹으면 괜찮은데 몸이 자꾸 지방으로 바뀌는 거야.
그래서 밥이라도 안 먹었어.
아니 그러니까 반대를
아니
했을 때
반대로 이제
밥을
알게요.
먹어.
이제 알았어요.
Eat more rice with sugar.
Second we walk in, everybody know. Got the place popping, 꿈을 같은 sound. I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them.
Way smoother now.
Second we walk in, everybody know. Got the place popping, 꿈을 깨는 sound. I'm gonna hit them. 나를 봐, 점점 가져가는 floor. 나를 봐, 점점 날아오는 몸.
And they gotta do it again.
신랑이 원래 화를 너무 안 내는데 얘한테만 강박해.
He's had quite a few years in having to manage his emotions with other hormonal teenagers at all times.
Second we walk in, everybody
봅시다. 이게 지금 많이 가까워서 더 이제 잘 부를 거야. 내게로 와, 텐션 빠져 들수록 느낌 좋아. Let it go on the road, yeah. 나를 알게 될 거야. Yeah, yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4. 후. 팝빙. 스탑 여기 볼게. 이때 롱이랑 지금 혹시 라인 맞아요? 2.5. 2.5? 네. 오케이. 지금 좋아요. 지금 딱 좋아.
네.
팝빙 꿈을 깨는 sound. I'm gonna 다가와 점점 커져가는 stop.
Malo also looks fine.
몇 번이에요? 오케이.
Mhm.
두두두두 점점 날아오고 나를 봐 점점 날아오는 두두두두 스탑. Freak along.
제가 밖으로 나갈 수가 없어요. 이때 권영이 제스처에서 제가 좀 돌아서 가야 되는데 그때 리우 형도 앞으로 오고 있어가지고
갈 공간이 없다가.
그러면은
한번 다시.
원래는 1위였어요.
1위였어.
Let's talk about why the members vocalize it and the director doesn't catch it. So the director's given a certain vantage point or like when you're watching a dance, he's not really looking for clashes unless it's something that's very, very clear and you see it in the music, right? A lot of times they're the ones who can tell what they're comfortable with in how much room they need in order to do what they need to do. And the director is like, okay, let's see what it looks like trying this compromise here. It is hard at times whenever you're focusing on making sure the spacing and the formations work and you're figuring out people needing to be in the right place for the right time. That's the priority over whether or not somebody's running into each other. We call it a traffic jam, right? Because that happens quite often where I have a dancer, let's say they're not the feature in the moment, or they are the feature, but the other people around them have to move to a different spot in a different time, and they have to go further than the person that I'm focusing on to go. And so you have to kind of troubleshoot, okay, is this individual who's moving, by making an adjustment, is that going to affect other components, or is it okay that I move the formation or they move like that at that timing and it works out, if that makes sense? So it doesn't surprise me at all. I deal with that quite often too. It's not abnormal to have the dancer themselves speak up and say, hey, I don't have enough room here, because you're not really paying attention to that as much as you're paying attention to other elements.
근데 지금 일로 가면은 안신아 더 멀어지지. 얘들아 잠깐만. 그러면 실록이랑 상현이 일로 가지고 상원이 지금 몇 번이야? 이렇게 정리할게. I'm gonna hit the freak along. Shit, I'm gonna hit the freak along.
I'm just gonna make them try it now.
I'm gonna hit the freak along to the group. Da.
Yep.
됐어. Hey, make it hit the freak along. Okay.
Yep.
가볼 수 있을까?
네.
할 수 있어 니네.
오케이.
할 수 있어 얘들아.
Fighting!
Sick of me walking, everybody know. Got the place popping, go with the sound. I'm gonna hit them. Sick of me walking, everybody know. Got the place popping, go with the sound. I'm gonna hit the freak line. Everyone jump, cause you gotta flow. Everyone jump, gotta hold 'em home. Walking, everybody know. Got the place popping, go with the sound. Sick of me walking, everybody know. Got the place popping, don't go get the sound. I'm gonna hit them.
고생하셨습니다.
아 리오 있어.
고생했어요.
Cool. Bean. That's funny. Yeah. Genuinely, that was a very interesting thing to watch, quite simply because it really just, how the director was in cleaning them, what I relate to it so much. Not into boy groups. Whenever you're navigating choreography with certain components of going from a certain number and you have to reblock it, it is so different depending on the amount of people, and when you add features in, it gets tricky. So the fact that there's enough comfort in the relationship with the director and the members to be able to communicate when there's an issue and no one takes it personally and everyone's like, we got to get the job done, I love it. That's absolutely an efficient way to have to do it, and I thought this was very informative, and it reminded me a lot of my own day-to-day, and this is a fantastic example of what cleaning looks like. It's tedious, it can be very boring, and it takes a long time to get what you need to get done. And it's just so meticulous too, because depending on the individuals that you have will determine how much time you need in order to get it ingrained, right? Because they're going to be able to practice multiple times in a certain period of time. In my case, I either have to wait a week to see the results, or I have to continue to request rehearsals for certain routines to make sure that the corrections are there. It just depends on who you work with, the timeline, and the demand, the budget, and the frequency preference. But yeah, this was really fun. I have seen Freak-Alarm. I've already seen all their stuff that they've done already. If you want to see it and you don't see it on YouTube, it's going to be on Patreon for you to enjoy. I had a lot of fun and very much looking forward to your commentary in the comments. I'm Jess, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye!